Hey everyone! In this video, we're going to be taking our bird ID skills a step further, and we're going to be learning how to identify birds, listening to their songs and their calls.
Learning to identify birds by their songs is crucial because it allows us to identify birds that we can't see. Often birders rely on their ears more than their eyes. Identifying birds by their songs allows us to identify birds that are really similar to each other, and even nocturnal birds.
So when we first start birding, listening to the bird's songs can be really overwhelming. So what we want to do is try to break down the song into different components that our brains understand. And that first component is pitch. Now the idea of pitch, most people get, it's just about a high or a low note. So if you look at a keyboard, the low notes are on the left and the high notes are on the right. And so kind of using that analogy can kind of help you think about pitch. Now some bird songs are either only high or only low, but other bird songs kind of have a mix, like the cardinal. So you can hear in this song that the cardinal starts low and goes really high really quickly, spanning the full range of a piano in less than 10 milliseconds.
Another important component when breaking down a song is rhythm. So make sure when you're listening to a song, you focus on tempo. Ask yourself, is the song slow or fast? For example, a house wren song is fast and jumbled. But in comparison, a white-throated sparrow sings slowly and sweetly. What rhythms can you discover?
The third component that we want to talk to you guys about is tone. Now, tone can be a bit difficult to describe, but I like to think of it as the quality of a sound. So if you think of a piano and a saxophone, they can play the same pitch and the same rhythm, but there's still something different about when you're hearing the music. That difference is the tone. There are 4 kinds of tone that we want to teach you guys. It's whistling, buzzy, flute-like, and trills. So keep in mind that using the tone isn't always going to be the best thing to break down a song with, but there are times where it can be really helpful in order to differentiate sounds.
Lastly, when you're identifying birds by song, try to listen carefully for repetitions. Some birds repeat the same things multiple times. For example, a northern mockingbird repeats the same tone, the same pitch, multiple times. A brown thrasher repeats the same pitches twice, then moves to new pitches, and again repeats twice. So, there you have it. 4 ways to break down a bird song: pitch, rhythm, tone, repetition.
Now that you've learned how to break down a song, we want to give you some extra tips that will help you when you're listening. The first one is called mnemonics. Now this is just a fancy word for taking a bird's song and turning it into a phrase or a sentence. For example, the yellow warbler's song, the mnemonic we use for this song is sweet, sweet, sweet shredded wheat. Some people find mnemonics useful and other people find it really confusing. So you can kind of choose if you want to use this or not. Take it or leave it.
Now, this tip may look a little silly, but if you cup your hands around your ears like this, the sounds around you are amplified. This will help you to hear and to focus on bird calls.
The last tip that we want to give you guys is the fact that birds can sometimes have different songs and calls. So just like people, they're not always going to have the exact same noise coming out of their mouth. They can kind of express whether or not they're happy or they're angry or they're scared. So don't try to memorize everything, but just pick one of the most common songs and learn that.
Now, we're going to take the time to practice identifying birds by their song. An American goldfinch has a fast rhythm and often short, high pitches. Their flight call sounds like they're quietly singing, "Potato chip, potato chip." Can you hear that?
The next bird that we're going to identify is a black-capped chickadee. Now you've probably heard this one before. It starts with a whistling sound at a higher pitch and then descends to 2 notes at a lower pitch.
A sparrow song is a whistle that gets faster as it moves along, but it stays at the same pitch the whole time. The second part of the song starts at a high whistle and then moves to a low buzz. It repeats this 3 times.
Now that you've learned how to identify birds using their songs, you can identify them from anywhere.